All right, welcome back and thank you so much for staying with Morning Live on this Monday morning. Now, the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Veterinary Services has suspended all trade in live birds and poultry, meat, table eggs and other unprocessed poultry products from Zimbabwe. This came after the department was notified of an outbreak of a highly pathogenic avian influenza or bird flu in one of the commercial chicken flocks in Zimbabwe. But to take this conversation further, I'm joined in our studios in Johannesburg by the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, Senzeni Zokwana. Minister, good morning to you and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning for listeners.
Now, how are things looking now in terms of the bird flu?
We've done our best because the least we can do as a country is to stop trade with Zimbabwe. Yeah. Once that a statement has made that there's this avian flu, but to make sure that other farmers along the borders are advised, one, not to allow their chicks to wander around, not to allow their chicks to mingle with birds, because this flu is mostly spread by wild birds that fly, and whenever they get into contact with chicks, it's easy to spread from chick to chick.
And I believe it's a difficult situation because you cannot necessarily be able to stop birds from flying over.
The least you can do is to keep your chicken indoors,
yeah, so
that you prevent them coming into contact with chicks, or leaving open water or for feed where they can exchange fluids.
So are you saying we haven't had any cases of bird flu reported in South Africa?
No cases have been reported so far, and we're doing our best to make sure that people are made aware, so that even if you have been to a place where there are sick chicks, you must make sure therefore that you disinfect yourself before you visit another one, because we can unwittingly carry to healthy chicks.
But talk to us, Minister, about Zimbabwe being a trade partner to South Africa, more so on poultry and meat product. How far does the trade relations go?
It's very low, because the figures are very minimal in terms of what we get from them. It's about eggs and some old chicks. It's not very much.
Yeah. All right, so there won't be a great impact on consumers mainly
because of that. Yes,
yeah, but the virus has been typed as H5N8. If you can just simplify it to us, what does it mean?
It is one of the strains that are discovered, because first our scientists, when they get to find that there is a disease, they have to identify what kind of disease it is. What I know, this kind of disease it has been mostly in Europe, and is very, very contagious. As I'm saying that once those chicks mingle with birds that have got it, it's easy to spread within the chicks. But we have not had up to now a case where it has infected humans, except workers who are mostly close to chicks. Yeah. Sometimes they can get sick.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the dangers should perhaps human being be in contact with the chickens, or go as far as consuming those chickens as well.
We have not been reported of any development to that side as to people getting sick, because immediately you get to know of it, your task as a government, as a department, is to make sure that you put up measures to prevent any meat, any product from that farm to spread. But people who work workers in those areas, if they are not well protected, they can be sick.
If they get in contact with those birds.
Chicks, yes.
And we know, Minister, that in March this year, South Africa, along with other countries, also banned meat products from Brazil, which is, of course, the world's largest beef and chicken exporter. What is the update on that ban? And is South Africa perhaps maybe re-looking into the issue of importing meat?
What we've done in the department, we have made a point that our control measures at the borders, when containers arrive, they are checked. Because what happened with Brazil, we understand that some chicks that were rotten meat was being transported to our country, where they use chemicals that would make it look like fresh. But we have been able to stop that. We're busy working on that, because we, as a country, we need to make sure that the products that reach our country are healthy and safe for human consumption.
Yeah, and we've also learned of the reports, Minister, that importers' permits, the department had actually requested that the permits be retained. What is going to happen? Is this a permanent feature, or is it just for a temporary base?
How long it will take will depend on the extent to which this bad behavior has been ongoing, where people would knowingly bring such chicks to our borders. There has to be penalties to be paid.
Yeah, and why has South Africa prohibited vaccination of chickens against such bird flu?
As I'm saying, it is difficult to look at vaccination because it is not necessarily the chicks that will be sick. It will be a disease that is brought in by birds. Yeah. And birds, once they mingle with the chicks, and there can be no way.
So do you not see a necessity for vaccination?
Of course, immediately you pick that problem. You have to phone our ARC that will take samples to see what kind of flu it is. Because only if they have done that can they be able then to say which vaccination can be used.
All right. But for now, you can assure South Africans that everything is under control. They shouldn't be panicking.
It is under control as long as we make sure that we don't carry meat from places that are regarded like from Zim. You should make sure that your chicks are kept in enclosures, and you make sure that your place is clean. Whenever there are sick chicks in your yard, you don't take them out for selling.
But are you having those educational campaigns, especially across the borders closer to Zimbabwe?
Our veterinarians are busy on that.
All right.
Yeah,
Minister, we'll leave it at that, but thank you so much for coming through. Minister Senzeni Zokwana is the Minister of the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, talking to us about this bird flu outbreak. But of course, the Minister assuring South Africans that everything is under control. There is no reason to panic. Now, let's